Hi, my name is Kimberly, and I went through over a decade of severe chronic illness, and now I am sharing my story and helping others find their way through a chronic experience into a new life. I was asked in a recent video and in the comments if how I use brain retraining, how I specifically use brain retraining. So I was going to talk a little bit about that here because I successfully incorporated brain retraining into my other practices, and the combination of probably like around like 10 like good things was what was like the magic pill that I had been looking for so long, my magic within me that I discovered, that I allowed myself to heal through. So my brain retraining process started when I saw DNRS, Dynamic Neuro Retraining System, somewhere out there on the internet. I don't even remember how I initially found this. And at first, I was extremely skeptic. Was like, whatever, yeah, okay. I had been diving into manifestation, and I had been diving into lots of spiritual practices over the years. Excuse me, but I had not myself experienced any sort of healing. I'd only like at that point gotten worse and worse, with little bits of improvement here and then a lot of just going what felt like totally downhill. So I watched some videos of people that recovered fully using the DNRS program, and I was like, okay, well, that person has the light sensitivity, and that person has the VOC sensitivity, and that person has POTS, and that person has this, and that person has that, until I watched like a video of something from somebody that they healed themselves through the DNRS program. And at this point, this was about, I think this was 2018 that I started doing brain retraining. It was early 2018 or late 2017. And so I had to like watch enough recovery videos from people who had done this to believe that I myself could heal using this system. And so I got the program and I started it, and I was having a really hard time getting through it. So I was I had a lot of cognitive issues. I had trouble focusing on anything. I had trouble understanding language many days. I had trouble reading. So it took me like a good couple of weeks to just get through like the initial videos with the manuscript of it. So it did help for me that there was like manuscript and also videos, because I'm a very visual person. So hearing, seeing, and like reading all at the same time was helpful for me to keep my focus and attention on it. But these are also not just like little concepts. These are big concepts and like things that could potentially change my life. So I was trying, but I was also very angry at this time. I was irritated all the time. I was in constant pain. I wasn't sleeping. And so it was very challenging to get through the videos of the initial, just learning about the program and how all the brain works. And now I had some introduction to psychology. I had taken some psychology classes, and I had done a bunch of research over the years throughout my chronic experiences where I had some backing to this. However, you don't have to know all of the science behind everything in order for this to work. Absolutely not. There's like a basic understanding to have of, the limbic system, the vagus nerve, the nervous system in general. And you don't need to know all the details. So don't be too worried about that if that's something you're stuck on. So after I got through the initial program, watching the videos and, doing the workbook, which again took me quite some time to get through, and that's okay if it's taking long. Just allow yourself to go through the process. Allow yourself to be in your own time. Like something that I kind of kept telling myself was, okay, well, I'm already sick I'm already like stuck like this. So either I'm going to slowly move through this to get to a place where I want to be, or I'm just going to stay stuck here. So any movement forward was movement forward for me. Any learning that I was doing was helpful. And I kind of framed it that way to help myself get through it. So once I did the initial, I started practicing the steps. And so if you're at all familiar with the DNRS program, it's like a stop, stop, stop. Like everybody knows the stop, stop, stop. They actually have a free trial, which I will link down below if it's still going. I'll send the link, or I'll put the link down below so you can check it out if you'd like to. And then that's when I was, okay, like, let me put in the work to do this. And it felt like a lot, because there was a lot of steps, and there's a lot of, first just initially like, okay, well, what are my patterns, what are my pops, what are my its, those are some terminology from it. And then how do I learn to reframe that, to consciously put attention and effort into turning this around in the moment when I catch it. So I started just practicing. I printed out the things, put them on the floor. There's like a little like grid. It's almost like a hopscotch or like a like a twister thing on the floor there. And you kind of move around it. So that's like a good visual. If you're kinetic or visual, it's a great way to help through that. So I was just practicing that every single day. And I would definitely get frustrated. I would definitely feel like I was getting burnt out. And initially it was just remembering the steps. How do I do this? So I did that for, I can't remember exactly how long, but it was in June of 2018. I didn't take it as seriously at this point when I first initially started. I was really into it for probably like a month or so. And then it's a lot of work, and I was not, it's kind of like working out a muscle. It takes some time. So I, at some point after this, which was in June of 2018, I went and got stem cells. Now, just a little brief here. I don't know if the stem cells actually did anything. The stem cells were, I was one of 6 people that I know that went to the clinic, and was the only one that had the types of results that I did, like to any degree, little like full recovery. So I have some other videos about this and how the combination of everything that I did was what helped, and I got way worse after stem cells. So just a little subcategory there of this video. But after I did the stem cells, we were told to not do anything for 100 days. So I basically allowed my body to rest. I ate the very tiny bits of foods that I could actually eat. I was down to eating 10 different foods at my worst point. I barely digesting those. And so I was just doing nothing for 100 days. Then after those 100 days, remember my mom said, she was like, why don't you just try the DNRS again? Because at this point I was feeling pretty low. I was getting sicker. I was getting to a point where I literally was in a dark bedroom wearing dark sunglasses and noise canceling headphones for months after this. So she was like, why don't you just give it a try? So I did. And I got back into it. I watched some more of the videos again. I went through the workbook again, and I was like, okay, I am going to take this seriously now. I had a mindset change in that, and I was like, I don't want to live the way that I have been living. I don't want to exist in this pain anymore. I am going to do everything that I can. And that included doing cold therapy and breath work and NAET treatments and meditation and yoga and a few other things that I did, which I can't think off the top of my head right now, that really helped. But my brain retraining specifically, I got into a routine with it. So a lot of people, I find that in the morning when they first wake up is a really good time to do that. And it is a good time for meditation. It is a good time for any kind of inner work or processes that you're going through. Journaling is great at this time because we haven't had our nervous system go through all the workings of the day yet. Our mind hasn't taken in all of this content, all this media. We haven't necessarily interacted with people in our lives, or if so, maybe like 1 or 2 people, but It's a quiet time, and the quietest time for the mind is in the morning. So there's less on our mind in the morning. So what I found really works for me was doing visualization. So I kind of slowly found what worked really well for me. I started journaling my futurizations, and futurizations are just basically you're creating future memories. So you're using past experiences and feelings that you have had that you do know what they feel like lightness and happiness and exhilaration and joy and excitement, comfort, safety. And you kind of use past scenarios to create a future scenario that you want to see yourself in, as you now, as the you that you're becoming. So I did that heavily. I created an awesome vision board. I put things on there. It was all outdoors and adventure stuff. It was things that I love hiking, as you can tell. And I love being outside in nature, and I started getting myself out as much as possible. Now this took some time because car rides at that point were very hard for me, and I had to kind of put a sweatshirt backwards over my face, and it was very hard to be in a car at that time. But I try to get myself out as much as possible, or even just out in the backyard. And I was in the mornings journaling and making my futurizations until I came up with some really solid ones. When I came up with some really good ones and I was like, yes, this is what I want my future to be, I actually recorded myself reading them. And then I would play them while I laid on the floor in the morning and listen to it. And I would often play it like 2 or 3 times, and I would really feel and see what it was that I was creating in my life. And funny thing is, that vision board, I realized when I was living in Tahoe that every single thing on that vision board came true. And that was about 2.5 years after I created that vision board. So super, super powerful in that work. And so I used the stop, 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 but I made it kind of my own. And so I would just take little parts of it that worked for me. I didn't have to do the whole cycle of it. And what I found worked extremely well for me was actually finding the bits of joy in my day and using, and then at this point, it was very, very little things that I was finding the joy in. It was very hard. I was in, like I said, a dark bedroom with dark sunglasses, headphones. The light was so dim that one of my joys at that time was playing cards with my mom or my dad. And it was so dark in the room that we couldn't see if the card was black or red. So we had to look really carefully to see what the suit was, to be able to play cards, because my light sensitivity was so extreme at this point. So that was a joy for me, though. That was something that got myself out of my head, that I was able to interact. And a lot of the times I couldn't even have a conversation at this point. I couldn't understand language many days. And so that was a joy for me. Another thing was I would watch People Are Awesome videos. So People Are Awesome videos were just like on YouTube. They are these videos that are showing people doing extreme and amazing and fun, awesome things. So just how incredibly powerful humans are, and the human body, and what we can do and how we can use our bodies. And I'm an adrenaline junkie sometimes. So I've always been like that since a kid. I like climbing things. I like going fast. I like doing things like jumping off cliffs. That's my thing. So I would watch a lot of videos of this, and it would help me evoke those feelings of joy and excitement and exhilaration and adrenaline. And I would allow myself to get really excited about these. And so even though I'm sitting here in bed, super weak, barely digesting food, not able to even watch the screen in color because I had it on so dim. I had a very specific filter on my phone that was so dim that it was just black and red. So that was the only way my light sensitivity would take it. And sometimes I could listen to the music very quietly, or sometimes I would just have the captions come up for videos. But sometimes the captions flashing across the screen was too much stimulation for me. So then I would just listen to it on silent. whatever worked for me that day. So it was very, very small baby steps into getting to a place where, especially I am now, but even to a place where I could watch videos, I could listen to music, I could be in a room with the fan spinning and a light above it, and the shadows that were coming through the light as the fan was going through weren't gonna make me feel like I was gonna have a seizure. So I would just use these little things to evoke joy. I also found some YouTubers that were doing some awesome things. I loved watching the Wim Hof stuff, or anybody who was doing that, and seeing again how incredibly powerful the body is and how these people push themselves to superhuman limits. They are just like Wim Hof. He does the cold therapy and the cold plunging that he's created a whole method around. It's very simple, and it's something that I still use now. And he has broken like something like 20 something records, and he's just an average person that pushed himself. So I was like, okay, if these people can all do these things, then I kept watching stories and stories. Like, I consumed so much YouTube for this time, I can't even tell you. YouTube was my friend. YouTube was my outlet. YouTube was my joy. I just kept finding videos of people that were happy, that were having fun. And yes, I would go through moments of anger for sure. Like, how come these people can do all these basic things? Like, I can't even go have a hamburger out somewhere. I can't even, just go do basic things. So of course I experienced frustration and anger and jealousy and rage at many, many times. But I also allowed myself to find the joy in this. So these like YouTubers kind of became my friends when I didn't feel like I had people who understood what I was going through at all. So I would lift my mood by watching these videos. That was a huge tool for me. I would believe that it was possible to heal through watching other people's recovery videos, or watching videos of various different things that people had overcome, great obstacles that people have overcome. I started making a list of some people that I found that have or connected with that have overcome their chronic experiences. This was so long ago now that I was watching these videos that I don't remember all of them, or that don't have links to the resources, but I have, as I've come across them or people have shared something with me, I've started kind of cataloging it. So I will put the links down below to the people's accounts or YouTube channels and videos that I found there. So please use those resources, because it is absolutely possible for you to get out of an adapted chronic experience. It's something that you were not born with. Your body knows, it has a nervous system that knows how to recalibrate itself. Your cells want to heal. It's our mind and our trauma and our pain that gets us stuck in loops, and a fear of so many things, literally anything. The amount of things that I was afraid of. I was afraid to leave the house. I was afraid to leave the bedroom. I was afraid of everything. I was so scared everything was going to hurt. So as I went through my brain retraining, I made it more and more adapted to my own. And I was able to use certain moments mixed with guided meditations, my own guided meditations, stepping out in the grass. Somatic tracking is something that I use. Like getting out here and just literally looking out and up when you're out in nature, and like tracking your eyes at a distance. So you're looking out as far as you can away from you. You can do this in your backyard. You can do this anywhere where you can get any kind of distance. That actually brings us into a primal state of I need to survive here and now in the moment. So it's not that anxiety and that fear that's bubbling up and stirring all the time. It's the I am present here. I'm looking for food. I'm looking for danger. I'm grounded. I'm fully aware of my surroundings. That helps bring us into the present moment and out of the mind. So our nervous system kind of goes, it's like eyes focus, we're here. So somatic, that's part of somatic tracking. Somatic tracking in itself is a huge category all on its own. But those are some of the tools that I have used, just stepping out in the grass, feeling my feet on the grass, taking some breaths in and finding that exhilaration of joy. The other thing that I will mention lastly is that you do not have to do an hour at a time of rounds. You don't have to do an hour a day of rounds. If a half an hour is working for you and you're doing 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, they don't even have to be rounds. This is something that's like, they can be that moment of stepping in the grass, feeling that joy. If you're kinetic, especially if you feel more than you see or hear, if that's like how your futurizations work the most, get somewhere where you can tangibly touch something outside, something, a smell, aromatherapy, something that brings you back, looking at pictures of a time that was awesome, and allowing yourself to stay motivated in that moment. Because sometimes we can go back into that, oh, and I'm not there. And like, of course, we want to be there again, right? We want to be in that space, but allow yourself to hold the vibration of staying in that happy, joyful, excited, content, safe, comfortable, whatever it is moment, as long as you possibly can. And the more you do it, even if it's a minute a day, 2 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, it's going to build. It's like a muscle. It takes time to exercise this. When we're used to our mind and our nervous system and our chemical emotions running through our body, our endorphins, our adrenaline, doing something specific, it's going to take time for the body to learn to use these in a different way. So if you have any questions about this, or if you'd like to comment below how you are using brain retraining, there's so many programs out there. There's the Gupta program, there's the Primal Trust, there's so many out there now. Go research it for yourself if you're interested in brain retraining, see what's out there. Comment below if you started something, if you have any questions, if you'd like me to clarify something. And if you're interested in coaching or doing some one-on-ones with me, feel free to check out my website at kimberlyharder.com, or you can email me at yourwellness@kimberlyharder.com, or you can go over to Instagram at kimbers.new.frequency. I will have all these linked below. And I really hope that this helps, because I think that it's really easy to get stuck in, I need to do it just like this is around, this is how we do it. But it's not. Like, in the end of my brain retraining, I wasn't even doing rounds at all. And I still use brain retraining every single day in various different forms. So, all right, well, I hope this helps, and sending you so much love and wellness, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.